Alright, so I'm going to start a monthly series where once a month I'm going to review usually 2 apps, but sometimes other apps will make it into the mix. This time it's going to be 3 that are for making money. I will make sure to include in the video description some links you can use to get to those apps. The one that I'm advocating, because there'll be one that I'm advocating for, one that I'm talking against, and then if I add any others, it's because I can't try them out, so I can't verify them one way or the other, for whatever reason. So the one that I'm talking for, I will make sure it's a link that will benefit me if you use, and I'll be grateful if you use that link. The other one will just be directly to Play Store, because they're all Android apps. I don't know which ones may or may not be available on Apple. So today the first review is going to be for Top Survey. I came up with 3 categories that are subjective, 5 that are subjective and 5 that are objective, grading each out of 10. And first category is trustworthiness perception, how trustworthy the app seems to me. I'm one, I don't commonly give a 10. So the fact that I give a 9 out of 10, and then user interface, how easy it is to use and accessible and all that, and I once again gave that a 9 out of 10. Customer support interaction satisfaction. Well, if the app is so good I never need to ask for customer support assistance, then, it's so good that I don't need to, then I give them a 10 out of 10 for that. And that was the case with this one. So, yeah, take that how you will. Activity engagement, like how easy the activities were and how enjoyable they were. A lot of the surveys, which is kind of the main point of the app, are a little bit annoying, but they did always pay what they said as long as you were able to actually finish the survey properly qualifying. Sometimes you didn't qualify, and most of the time when you didn't qualify, they'd still give you a small amount, but not the full payment, which was a little annoying. But I loved the games, and they always paid for the games what they said they would. So overall, I gave it a 7 out of 10 myself. You might think it deserved a lower score based off what I said, but I felt like 7 out of 10 was good. Ad intrusiveness. Are there any ads in it? If there's any ads whatsoever, I would have given it a 9. And if those ads pop out of your face or really annoy you and stuff like that, or are constantly popping up or anything like that, that lowers the score more and more. Well, 10 out of 10 I gave this because I don't remember seeing a single ad in the app itself. And I remember seeing some at the top and bottom of screens for some of the surveys, but not in the survey itself unless the survey was asking about the ad. So yeah, I would say a 10 out of 10 there. And then monthly earning yield. Well, I'm just getting started. So my highs and lows on scores for that is going to be based off of my last month experience mainly. So as this one had the highest score last month, which is why I'm doing the review for this one, at $9.37. Not much for a month, but it was still my highest earning. So, and I wasn't being all that active with it anyway. I gave it a 10 out of 10 for that. I think I was going into it 1 to 2 times a week, doing like 3 surveys and playing the game for about an hour and a half or so. And I got that much. So take that how you will. Anyway, earnings transparency. Earnings tracking logs, like how well you can see how much you've earned and stuff like that, and total it up and all that. If it had a monthly earnings screen, like a screen that specifically said monthly earnings, I probably would have given it a 10. But it was still super easy to access, super easy to see what all I've earned and figure that out. So I gave it a 9. And then payout method accessibility. It had PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, 2 other direct withdrawal methods, 2 prepaid card methods, one of them being a PayPal prepaid and the other being Visa, and many gift card methods. So because of all that, I put 10 out of 10. Like, they definitely had a bunch of different payout methods. As far as regional availability, in Vancouver, Washington, I've never had any issues. I can't guarantee elsewhere, but I've never had any issues. And so I put 10 out of 10 because all this is from my viewpoint. And then for financial risk profile, I never saw one thing to think that there's any risk of using this app. Never. So I put it as a 10 out of 10. Giving the overall score to be a 94 out of 100. So getting an A on that one. So next is Gravy Pass. This is the one I do not like at all. For trustworthiness perception, it was hard for me to gauge this, so I just asked the AI to do it. And it searched into it and gave it a 6 out of 10. And I'll read its description as to why. Gravity Pass has over 700 Trustpilot reviews, with a strong majority being positive, and the platform claims over $1 million paid out to users, with multiple individual users confirming PayPal payouts as high as $294.94. There are genuine green flags. However, Scam Advisor assigned the site a low trust score, citing its relatively recent registration. There is also a reoccurring specific pattern of accounts being flagged or banned for completing game milestones too quickly, with users losing earned rewards in the process. A red flag that mirrors what we saw with Play.io. It pays, but the ban pattern is too consistent to rate it highly. Most of these I did the review myself for from my own experience, but that specific category I didn't know how to rate it, so I asked the AI to. And there's 2 other categories like that. I will name them when I come across them. For the user interface, it's hard to navigate beyond the game download screen and the screen to see how much money you've earned. Those 2 screens are easy, as well as I think the cash out screen, but you can't really go to the cash out screen until you've earned at least $5, and I never did, so I can't guarantee that. But for the other screens, it's a lot harder to figure out how to get to what you want to get to if you want to get to anything else. So I gave that a 4 out of 10. For the customer support satisfaction, any issues I saw with it were systemic to the point where I don't think customer service would have been able to help with the issues. So it's not that I didn't go to them because there was nothing wrong with the app. It's that I didn't go to them because what was wrong wasn't anything they could likely help with. So as such, I don't feel right giving it a 10 out of 10. But I also don't feel right giving it a 0 out of 10. Because it's not like the app was so terrible that nothing could be done for the app, just there was probably nothing they could do. So I gave it a 5 out of 10. For activity engagement, like how enjoyable different parts were and whatnot, I didn't earn enough, but I enjoyed what I played to earn. So I give it a 7 out of 10. That's actually pretty high with how bad this one is. For ad intrusiveness, I don't remember seeing any ads. With how terrible this one is elsewise, the fact that I didn't see any ads, it got a 10 out of 10 there. For earnings transparency and tracking logs, once you find that screen, it is easy to understand, and it's definitely there, ready for you to see. So it gets points there. However, it is hard to figure out where that thing is. Really hard. So I give that a 5 out of 10. Because, yeah, that's no. Payout method accessibility, just what payout methods it has. This is another one I had to ask for because I don't know what payout methods it has. But I guess it has PayPal, Venmo, Amazon gift card, and Airbnb credits, as well as some other gift cards, but nothing was clarified for that. So I give it a score of 6 out of 10 for that. Never was able to access that area because I never earned enough. Oh, I think I skipped one, which was monthly earning yield. The very first month I had it, I earned $1.63. Didn't earn the next 2 months. Like nothing. My total is still at $1.63 2 months later. But I earned that $1.63 within the first month. So obviously scored that a 0 out of 10. Regional availability, it's available in Vancouver, Washington, so 10 out of 10. I've never had any issue due to my region, at least not that I know of. So yeah. Financial risk profile, this is another one I didn't know how to grade myself because my limited experience with this, not really getting anything out of it, so asked AI. AI told me 8 out of 10. Gravity Pass is free to download and requires no upfront payments. True. Credit card or bank details to earn or withdraw. As far as I know, true. Payouts go through PayPal, Venmo, meaning no sensitive banking information is required at the redemption stage. Wouldn't know. Multiple reviewers confirm small processing fee on PayPal cash outs, which is a minor but real cost deduction here. The app also requires identity verification self-ID check before first cash out, which is standard KYC practice, but worth noting. 2 points are deducted, one for processing fee and one for the account ban pattern that can effectively forfeit legitimately earned rewards without recourse. Yeah. So, not too surprising that it got as low as it did, but I'm actually a little surprised it got as high as it did. End score is 61 out of 100, which gives it a D rating. Previous one was A, this one's D. And I'm one. I go each of the first 5 that I'm going to list is in 10% increments, and then the last one is the rest. A, B, C, D, E, F. I actually do use an E, even though that's not used in standard grading systems. That's my grading system. I can use it if I want to in my grading system. Anyway, now on to the additional item. This is one I found out I can't test. So I can't do my own grading for it. So this grading is entirely done by the AI. If you want to read any of the details of why it graded, how it graded, pause at any point to make sure you can read it. But I'm just going to list the item and what it graded for each of these, and then the end grade. So, trustworthiness perception, 6 out of 10. User interface accessibility, I would actually say 7 out of 10. Customer support satisfaction, 6 out of 10. Activity engagement, 6 out of 10. Ad intrusiveness, 7 out of 10. Monthly earning yield, 4 out of 10. Earnings transparency tracking logs, 6 out of 10. Payout method accessibility, 2 out of 10. Regional availability, 1 out of 10. It's available in 36 states. Washington is not one of them. And that's where I live, so I can't use it. Financial risk profile, 4 out of 10. Remember, lower is worse, higher is better for all of these. So overall score, 49 out of 100, which, even according to my rating system, is an F. So this one fails completely. So, yeah, that's my grading of these things. Feel free to say your comments on that. And the first two, the first two I can guarantee actually work on Android 14. But the rest, I don't know. I honestly don't. Well, the last one, I don't know. I honestly don't. And I don't know if they work on other Android versions either. But I will put a comment on this video saying Android 14, do the first one I reviewed, Android 14 works. Second one I reviewed, Android 14 works. And then that's going to be all that is on mine to start with, because I know some Android 14 devices might not be able to run it, but Android 14 itself can. So it's not the operating system that can't run it, where some operating systems might not be able to run some of these. So if you find any that can't run in-app on another device that's not Android 14, tell me, please. And tell me in that comment, like in a reply to that comment, so I can add it to my list and say it doesn't work. And if you find one that does work, so I can add it to my list and say it does work. Like if it works on another version. And also the last one I reviewed. If you find out it works on any Android version or doesn't work on any Android version, feel free to let me know in that comment section, and I'll gradually add those to my list. Now, if it doesn't work for you, but on my list it already says it works, it's your device, not your Android system. Like, not the Android version, the individual device. And I don't want lists of devices. That's too cumbersome for me. I'm just putting Android versions. If anyone says it works on a specific Android version, I'm going to say it works. Unless multiple people tell me that they have and show me evidence that it specifically does not work on that Android version, and then I'll fix that. Because I know some people will probably troll and just say it does work on certain Android systems where it really doesn't. So if you can show me evidence it really doesn't, I'll fix it. But it has to be evidence that doesn't work on the Android version, not on your specific device. Which is why I trust people saying it does over people saying it doesn't. Anyway, have a good one.